Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Aquarius. So, Aquarius, as usual, I'm doing this reading with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you'll see are from this deck. So, before I begin with your message today, Aquarius, I haven't recorded readings for the last few days because I just want to enjoy the time that I'm here with Sen, and very shortly I am going to fly back to Brazil, so I just want to make sure that I am making the most of my time here with her, just to enjoy like every second, every conversation, every moment with her. And we have been doing that. That's the reason and also why I just didn't record anything. I didn't feel pulled to record any message, also because the last reading that I posted, the one with Cindy and Sen, I felt like it needed a little bit of time to be digested. There's a lot of information there. So, yeah, but today I just felt this impulse of just sitting down and pulling cards for you, Aquarius. And it's funny because maybe if you're new here in my channel, you don't know this, but the very first sign that I did a reading for was Aquarius. So whenever I come back to Aquarius, it feels like I am like refreshing the energy, right? It's like what I picture is almost like going up like this spiral staircase and reaching this higher octave, right? So Aquarius opens up this new octave of energy for, the signs. So yeah, it feels very just symbolic to be an Aquarius reading that is I want to say like reopening this series of readings for the signs. But as I said, I am flying back to Brazil in a few days. So yeah, I don't know when the next reading is going to come, but I hope that this one serves the highest good for your moment, for your life right now as you find this, whenever it is. Yeah, because I am keeping this as an Aquarius reading, but as I said, the sign of Aquarius just to me just symbolizes the human collective, right, as a whole. So hopefully there is something that will serve you, but also serve others in their own lives and journeys. So yeah, just take whatever resonates and the rest, just leave it to others who might resonate with. So, jumping into the cards, there is a message here, Aquarius, that you know that you are being moved. You know that you are undergoing a transition, and it seems like, at least this is your personal perception, that you are the only one who can see the evidence, the actual physical manifestation that this is happening. Because I want to say that maybe most people, when they look around to their lives, right, it's like they won't be able to see that there is like this shift, right, this spiritual shift that is carrying us all, right, in the collective to this higher octave or to this path of truth, is what I'm hearing right now. But I want to say it's like you are already going toward it, right? It's like you know that what guides you is this search of truth, or this knowingness that you have inside that resonates with this pull, right, for truth. So there is a bit of a surprise here that I want to say it's delightful, because it feels like a dream come true. And I feel like this might be a little bit unexpected, because when you took the first steps in terms of you becoming this sovereign being, right? Seeking truth. Maybe you thought that you were alone in this journey, right? Because you were the only one in your perception, maybe so far, to be able to see the evidence, right? But now, taking those steps, I want to say there is like almost like this other part of this transition that entails you working together with somebody that seems like, I mean, you're just going to blend so well together, right? Because both of you are able to see the shift in the 3D, right? So that was a long introduction. Let me just start showing the cards. We're beginning with the Six of Swords, which was showing me this transition, right? So what I saw with this card was almost like, you know, when there are like those big tractors and, you know, there is like the top portion and then the wheels, right? It's almost like there's something that is moving, right? That is below our perception. It's almost like it's, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it's what I'm hearing. It's like it's under the radar, but the radar is not capturing it, right? So it's almost like there is no need to pick up on what is the energy that is moving us, because it is compatible, because you're showing up here with this Ace of Swords, which is, you know, this seeker of truth. But because it's almost like I'm seeing this as like, the Six of Swords is the one that is lifting your vibration, so you don't need to see what is beneath you, right? That is carrying you forward so that you can pursue your truth. You see what I mean? So because, you know, the Ace of Swords is like this, well, it is this one arrow, right? That feels like it's alone because it doesn't have, you know, like material evidence, right? Physical evidence that this is what is happening. Because, especially, remember that I told you that you're the one who's able to see the physical evidence, and the next card is going to show that. But I just want to reiterate the fact that here, even though you wish you knew, or you wish you could have almost like this confirmation of maybe your spirit team, right? The ones that are carrying you, the ones that are lifting you up, that they are there, right? But it's almost like you also hold this knowingness, which might be paradoxical, but it's not. It's like you already carry this truth because it's almost like this spiritual resonance. I don't know how exactly to express that, but it's almost like you know that the ones that are carrying you are part of you, or they vibrate in a similar frequency to yours. That's the reason why they are coming here to move you, right? Because they are kind of like raising your vibration, or they are lifting up your energy, or even like your mood, right? So that you can in a way know that they are there without necessarily needing to see that they are there, right? But also, because the Nine of Pentacles is coming next, this is the card that represents, well, first of all, sovereignty, but it's also showing me the physical evidence. Because remember when I was talking about how the Ace of Swords is like this one card, that it's like this one symbol, right? So it's like it feels like it's you. It's like this is meant for you. It's like it's a very individual thing, a very unique, specific thing to you, to your perception field, right? Even though there are several other beings here that are supporting you in a sense, right? Since they are carrying you and lifting your vibration to move you toward this truth, it's like you somehow are alone there, right? It's like there aren't any others. And when I saw the Nine of Pentacles, because to me the nines, they represent the individual path, this card was just showing me that yes, you feel perhaps like you are alone in this, at least in this perception that you can perceive the physical matter being shifted or being changed, being transformed, but maybe you're the only one who can truly see that, even though what you truly wish to see is this, but what you're seeing, it's just the effect that this has on the physical matter, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like this throughout your journey, right? Because to me, this is like your life path, for instance. It's like what you have experienced in this lifetime so far, right? And like what there's still more to be perceived, more to be experienced, more to be lived through, right? But it's like you have seen enough evidence to know that you are like on the right path, that you are seeking truth, that you are following truth, that you are being led by truth. And even though you cannot see these ones, it's like you resonate with their frequency, therefore you can feel how they impact the physical, or they give you clues of their presence without necessarily showing themselves to you directly. So you can see the evidence. You seem to be alone in this perception. It's almost like you don't have anybody in your life to say, oh, I see this too, or I can see how this is changing, reality. So in this, you are alone, right? Or at least it's a very individual experience that is hard to even explain to others. But that's where the sovereignty comes, right? It's almost like, because you know that you're being carried through this transition, right, into like this path of truth. It's almost like you already know that it's enough for you to hold this perspective, you to hold this awareness that you can see the evidence even though you don't see the actual source of change, right? Or what is causing the change. And this is where I feel like when you come to this realization, Aquarius, that you are okay with being alone in this perception, right? It's like you don't need to have like somebody there to confirm this to you. It's like if it feels true to you, then you're okay with that, right? It's like it just empowers you. It gives you the sense of sovereignty, right? It's like it just becomes almost like this symbol for your independency in a sense, right? It's like not needing to have another there to confirm this or to approve, not approve, what is the word? I can't remember the word. Just confirm, right? Let's just stick with that word because it's easier. But anyways, you see what I mean? So it's okay to be in this situation by yourself. And then is where things shift, because it's almost like the next step, the very next step that you take in this physical journey, maybe in your daily life, right? It's like you're going to stumble upon somebody that seems to be the perfect mirror to see the shift. And it's interesting because, the Two of Pentacles to me has always been this card of the steps, right? One step after the other, very mindful steps, right? Very practical steps, perhaps. But what this was showing me is that the moment that you understand that you are sovereign, that you are independent, and that you are okay with being the only one to have this perception that shifts are happening even in the physical, even though you don't have like proof, because you can see what is shifting or what is causing the shifts, right? You perceive the change because you're feeling more independent. And when you're okay with that knowingness, it's like that's when you bump into somebody, and it's almost like you don't need the evidence anymore. This is what the Two of Pentacles is showing me, because it transitions from you being almost like being always shown like the signs, the physical proof, right? Like being, how these two lines are showing me like one evidence after the other. So like your entire life, you've been shown signs and synchronicities that were proof that you were being carried by these beings, right? Your spirit team, for instance. But as soon as you bump, like the very next step that you take with this knowingness, with this realization, it's like all of these evidence, it's like they're not necessary anymore. It's like you don't need the signs and synchronicities. You don't need the physical proof, because it's like you have a mirror, right? And this mirror, because it's like it's taking steps together, right? It's like you and this other, which is like this very pleasant, unexpected meeting or encounter. It's like it's exactly what perhaps you were searching for, but you thought that you were alone, right? And then as soon as somebody else says, oh, but I see as well, like I know what you mean, I have this vision that is able to perceive the change in our reality, right? It's not just a mental thing, it's not just hope, it's not just abstract, it's like it's embedded in the physical as well. It's almost like you decide that both of you are taking steps together to cross through a threshold that is incredibly transformative, right? So I want to say that this is also part of the transition that you are undergoing. Until now, it's been like a very like lonely process in a sense, right? Because you were doing this by yourself, for yourself, not having anybody to bounce it off. But now that there is another, right, that is like willing to take these steps with you, it's almost like both of you are encouraging one another to go through this door together, because that's what I see with this death door, right? It is slightly open, so it's almost like both of you are seeing in the physical, right? Some sort of common sign, right? That is calling both of you to cross that threshold together, because what is coming next is the Eight of Pentacles, which is the card for this sacred purpose, right? And it's fascinating because here, you know, the Nine of Pentacles, it's like you were embodying this central pentacle while the Eight of Pentacles were here, right? So all of the evidence, all of the signs, all of the synchronicities that you thought that you were the only one who could see them, and that is very purposeful because it gave you this sense of sovereignty, right? And empowerment and knowingness that you are following this path of truth, so you are in your own truth. But as soon as there is somebody else that is taking like the same steps, and these steps are pointing both of you to cross through this threshold, it's almost like after you cross, what you're going to perceive is so entangled, but not entangled in as in like confusing, right? What is yours and what is mine? It's like a common work, a common sacred purpose, because it's almost like you have been joining the pieces, right? But it's like you didn't know when they would meet, because what I'm seeing here, it's almost like these are two separate lines. So it's almost like maybe two different timelines. It's like you could see individually, right, in your own path so far, these two very distinct timelines that would give you constant synchronicities, right? That they were real, right? That the shift was happening. But then as soon as you bump into this one, and both of you know that you can see the evidence, so the evidence, the signs and synchronicities are no longer required, because it's almost like beads, right? It's like now you're going to create this braided work, right? Because it's like it's made of the things that you have already seen. So you have seen in advance, but now there's somebody that is coming and saying, I've seen it too. So why don't we cross through this threshold together and see what's going to happen on the other side? And what happens on the other side seems to be like this common work, right? It's like coming together, especially because to me, the Eight of Pentacles is the overlapping of two fives, and the five to me is the individual, right? This sense of self-integrity. So but it's like both of you, it's interesting because I'm just thinking about like two people that are so close to one another that it's like they feel like one, right? But they're still two. So maybe this is why it's like all of the evidence just falls away, because it's like individually you needed that to just continue forward. But now that there is another one, it's like you have that mirror, right? And they are together. It's like both of you serve one another. Both of you are so blended, or so merged, are so one, right? Because it's almost like it's the same purpose. It's the same sacred work, that it's almost like I want to say, yes, it is transforming both of your paths, but here it's also a dream come true, because we're ending with the Nine of Cups. So what starts, or what has been always maybe your search for independence, your search for sovereignty, your search for your ability to just have like this sustainable life, right? Just like take care of your practical stuff, right? Be an independent being, right? So, but what starts in a very practical way, and you seeing the evidence that you're able to just be more of like this sovereign human being, right? It actually leads to this Nine of Cups, which is almost like a dream that you didn't even know that you had, right? I know that you, well, being an air sign, it's like you are the seeker of truth, but it's almost like you were always flipping between the mind and the practical, right? It's like you were always either working on your mental attunements or like working with your practical. It's interesting. I was going to say practical magic. And I just watched that movie with Sen for the first time. Well, she's watched that movie several times. I just watched it a few days ago, and it is perhaps what I'm seeing here. So, and it's beautiful how, you know, the two sisters, when they work together, it's like it just becomes more powerful, and they can work together, right, to create almost like this rippling effect over time that really shifts, you know, almost like, you know, this almost like this succession of generations, right? And maybe this is a dream that you didn't even know was like so buried in your heart, because it goes back to maybe when you incarnated for the first time, right? Because it's like you were so driven by the signs and synchronicities embedded or imprinted in the physical that maybe you forgot to just see the evidence in your emotional body. I want to say, not necessarily, but how do I translate this? It's almost like you weren't paying attention to how the evidence was also in your emotional body through your feelings. But now that you have this other that is working with you, that is working as a mirror and you to them, right? It's like this reciprocal thing, and crossing through this incredibly transformative doorway, right? It's like both of you, it's almost like it's a dream come true for both of you, I want to say, but most of all for you, because it's almost like there is a return. It's interesting, I'm hearing it's a return to practical magic, right? It's like here, it's like you were seeking the truth in the physical, but now it's like, you know, that because you don't need to see the evidence in the practical because you have one another, it's like you can turn towards your emotions, and your emotions are going to give everything that you need to continue, right? Because it is a braided path, but it's also like a very individual one. It's almost like both of you are working together, but you don't lose your individuality because you're so braided. I hope that makes sense. So it is a dream come true, right? To find somebody that sees the same evidence as you. They're feeling pretty much the same, I want to say, and they're willing to take the steps to almost like to make this a reality, right? Because it's like it needs to be physical, right? For this to actually be activated, right? The emotional desire to be seen or to be felt, most of all. It's almost like you need to turn towards the emotions right now, because you've done your part in taking care of the mental and the physical, right? Or the practical. So now that that part is done, the work still continues in the physical. It's just that now things are going to be just more pleasant and just more pleasurable, I want to say, because it's like it's so fun to know that you have your individual path, and at the same time know that there is somebody that is working with you because they also see the evidence as much as you, right? So I hope this was helpful. I hope there was something in here for you. I am going to pull more cards to see where this wants to go next, maybe exploring more of what is this dream come true, especially to you. But also I'm going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.